Hello, English learners, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
Erica, today we are really excited, right?
Yeah, we've got a great lesson today all about real English.
Exactly. English that you hear in movies and TV shows.
Yeah, speaking of movies, today's podcast takes place at the movies.
Exactly, and that's why it's so fun today. Okay, great. So before we listen to our dialogue, let's take a look at our vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
In today's vocabulary preview, we have two words. And the first word is inconsiderate.
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 So Erica, what is it when someone is inconsiderate?
If someone's inconsiderate, they're not thinking about the feelings of other people.
Right, so for example, yesterday I was on the subway and it was full.
Right?
And an old lady was standing there and no one got up to give her their seat.
That was pretty inconsiderate.
Great, so now let's take a look at our second word, and it's keep it down.
Keep it down.
Keep it down.
Keep it down.
So why don't we listen to some examples on how we use keep it down so we can understand.
Example 1.
Excuse me, do you mind keeping it down? It's after midnight.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Example 2.
I'm trying to study. Do you mind keeping it down?
Example 3.
You mind keeping it down? I'm trying to watch the game.
So that means be quiet.
Yes, don't make so much noise.
I used to hear this one all the time from my mother.
I think we all did when we were children.
Yep.
Okay, so now let's listen to the dialogue for the first time. It's gonna be kind of fast.
But don't worry about it if you can't understand everything. By the end of today's lesson, you will understand this dialogue.
Antonio Montano. This country gotta make the money. Then we get the money, you get the power. Then we get the power, then you get the money.
Those people in front of us are making so much noise. It's so inconsiderate.
Don't worry about it. It's not such a big deal.
Oh, I can't hear a thing. Excuse me, can you keep it down?
Sure, sorry about that.
Someone's phone is ringing.
Honey, I think it's your phone. Did you forget to switch it off?
Oh no, you're right. That's so embarrassing.
Do you mind keeping it down? I'm trying to watch a movie here.
Well, I hate it when people's phones ring when I'm watching a movie.
I think everyone gets kind of angry, but we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Why don't we take a look now at our language takeaway?
Language takeaway.
So the language takeaway is our most important words for today's lesson. And our first word today is not such a big deal.
Not such a big deal.
Not such a big deal.
So when something is not a big deal, it's
not a big problem.
It's not important, right?
Exactly.
Okay, let's listen to some examples.
Example 1.
I can't get these files to you by tomorrow.
It's okay, it's not such a big deal.
Example 2.
I'm really sorry. I'm gonna be 10 minutes late for the meeting.
It's not such a big deal. Peter and Liam are late too.
Now let's look at our second word, and it's switch it off.
Switch it off.
Switch it off.
Switch it off.
So this word means to turn it off.
To turn something off.
Now, we can use it in 3 different ways.
Yeah, this one is a little bit complicated because it changes a little bit depending on how you use it. So, Marco, I think you've got some examples for us.
Right. So, for example, I can say, did you switch off your phone?
Or you could say, did you switch your phone off?
Right. Or simply you can ask, did you switch it off?
I think this one is a little bit hard. Let's look at a couple more examples.
Okay, so I can say, for example, switch off the TV.
Switch the TV off.
Or switch it off.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more clear.
Yeah.
But you know what? We even had trouble with that one, didn't we?
Yeah, we had to do it a couple of times. Okay, now let's look at our last word, and it's can't hear a thing.
Can't hear a thing.
I can't hear a thing.
Can't hear a thing.
Okay, we have some examples for this phrase, so let's listen.
Example 1.
What's going on in there?
I don't know. I can't hear a thing.
Example 2.
What? I'm sorry, this music is too loud. I can't hear a thing.
So that's like saying, I can't hear.
Exactly, I can't hear anything.
It's too loud.
Right. So now we are ready to listen to our dialogue a second time. It's going to be slower.
This time, listen for some of the key words we were explaining.
Those people in front of us are making so much noise. It's so inconsiderate.
Don't worry about it. It's not such a big deal.
I can't hear a thing. Excuse me, can you keep it down?
Sure. Sorry about that.
Someone's phone is ringing.
Honey, I think it's your phone. Did you forget to switch it off?
Oh no, you're right. That's so embarrassing.
Do you mind keeping it down? I'm trying to watch a movie here.
Okay, great. Now with the dialogue slower, it's really understandable.
Yeah, I think you could catch those keywords a lot better.
Perfect. So now we are ready to look at putting it together.
Putting it together.
So in putting it together, we help you use a great phrase in different ways. And today's phrase is, do you mind?
Do you mind?
Do you mind?
Okay, so let's listen to some examples on how you can use this phrase in different situations.
Example 1.
Do you mind holding my coat for me?
Example 2.
Oh, I forgot my wallet. Do you mind paying for dinner?
Example 3.
Do you mind turning off your phone?
So this phrase is usually pretty polite. I could say to you, Marco, do you mind holding my coat for me?
And that's really polite.
Yeah, so would you mind, do you mind are very polite phrases.
But depending on your voice and how you use your tone, it could be a little bit sarcastic, right?
Yeah, it could be a little bit rude if you say, would you mind keeping it down?
Exactly, like we heard in our dialogue.
Yeah, so that's not so polite.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in English, you have to be careful because your tone of voice tells the other person how you're feeling, if you're angry, sad, or just like in any other language.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, using a phrase like, do you mind is a great phrase, but make sure you keep a positive tone in your voice.
Exactly. So now that we've talked about all these great things, we can listen to the dialogue a third time, but it'll be at its normal speed.
Antonio Montano. This country gotta make money. Then we get the money, you get the power. Then we get the power, then you get the money.
Those people in front of us are making so much noise. It's so inconsiderate.
Don't worry about it. It's not such a big deal.
Oh, I can't hear a thing. Excuse me, can you keep it down?
Sure. Sorry about that.
Someone's phone is ringing.
Honey, I think it's your phone. Did you forget to switch it off?
Oh no, you're right. That's so embarrassing.
Do you mind keeping it down? I'm trying to watch a movie here.
So I know that in different countries, there are different habits about watching movies.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Erica, what's it like in Canada?
Well, in Canada, it's really common to eat popcorn and candy and maybe chips while you're watching a movie. But if your phone rings in the movie theater, this is a big problem.
I imagine it is. I mean, I would be upset also.
What about in Ecuador?
Well, in Ecuador and in South America, usually people can bring in food from the outside.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not really uncommon, depending on the city, to find people bringing in chicken or some sort of like really smelly food.
No way.
So you get either really hungry or really upset, but that's what happens.
You know, I used to live in Switzerland, and in Switzerland, you would have to eat before you watch the movie. There was no popcorn, no soda, no candy inside the movie theater. Can you imagine that?
I could not live with that because the whole purpose of going to the movies is to have some popcorn and relax and have a good time.
You can't have a movie without popcorn.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about how to ask someone to be quiet today. And I hope that you'll go out and try a few of these phrases in your daily life.
Yes.
Every time we step into a public setting, whether it's a busy cafe, a crowded subway car, or a bustling park, we carry with us more than our personal needs and desires. We bring along an unspoken contract of mutual respect, an understanding that our words and actions affect everyone around us. In other words, public discourse always involves a polite load, a responsibility beyond mere self-interest. At its simplest, self-interest would tell each of us to speak and act however we please. If I'm thirsty, I'll shout for service. If I'm upset, I'll raise my voice to be heard. If I'm in a hurry, I'll push past the crowd. Yet once we enter a shared space, this narrow view quickly collapses. My raised voice can startle a child. My sharp elbows can topple another passenger. My rush to the exit can leave someone behind. We soon learn that thinking only of ourselves has clear social costs, costs we all bear together. That realization points us toward co-benefit. When I speak quietly on my phone, I allow others to read, work, or simply enjoy peace. When I offer my seat on the bus, I ease someone's journey and set a tone of caring. In each small choice, I exchange a bit of personal convenience or freedom for collective goodwill and harmony. This polite load isn't a burden so much as a shared investment in a positive environment, where every gentle gesture, lowered voice, and small apology adds up to a public space we all find more pleasant. Yet public venues are often noisy, crowded, and disorderly. In a busy food court, dozens of conversations overlap in a constant hum. In a rush hour train, bodies press against bodies as feet jostle for standing room. At a sidewalk cafe, the crash of dishes punctuates the chatter. These real-world conditions constantly test whether we can maintain courtesy under pressure. It's easy to drop polite norms when noise makes conversation difficult, space grows tight, or someone's emergency seems more urgent than ours. Still, every moment offers a choice. We can step aside to let someone pass, lower our voices when we notice frustration in others' eyes, or simply smile before squeezing through a crowd. Each small pause and gesture says, "I see you," and acknowledges that our shared comfort depends on mutual consideration. Even when the din and bustle threaten to overwhelm our good intentions, remembering the polite load, that invisible sense of responsibility, helps us pause before acting and ask, how will this affect those around me? Of course, politeness carries its own costs. The extra time spent waiting, the mental effort of monitoring volume, the small sacrifices of personal space. In some moments it feels easier to simply push ahead, speak up, or ignore the crowd. But these small costs must be balanced against the social benefit. A calm ride to work rather than a shouting match, a shared meal in harmony instead of tension, a peaceful park stroll rather than a chaotic rush. Ultimately, navigating public spaces with courtesy is an art of balance. By willingly shouldering the modest burdens of lowered voices, patient waiting, and considerate behavior, we ensure that everyone, ourselves included, enjoys smoother, more respectful interactions. And in doing so, we transform noisy, crowded, disorderly scenes into shared environments where each individual's small act of thoughtfulness becomes part of a richer, quieter whole. In any shared public setting, from crowded cafes to busy streets, the little sacrifices we make to be polite add up to a healthier, more cooperative environment. Slowing your step to let someone pass, pausing your conversation so a stranger can hear a station announcement, or carefully phrasing a request instead of barking a demand all carry what we can call the cost of courtesy. Though each act is small, an extra beat lost, an additional phrase uttered, a fleeting self-conscious glance, together they pay dividends in comfort, harmony, and mutual respect. In this section, we'll explore how to strike the right balance between these personal costs and the social benefits they yield, and we'll unpack key strategies, language patterns, and nonverbal cues that make polite communication both effective and natural. Weighing costs and benefits. Every polite gesture involves an investment. Saying, "Excuse me, would you mind?" instead of "move" adds words and thought. Waiting for someone to finish a phone call in a cafe stalls your own progress. Offering to share space on a bench takes time you could use elsewhere. Yet these small investments earn collective goodwill. They reduce the likelihood of conflict, create a shared sense of consideration, and lubricate the smooth flow of everyday interactions. When young commuters step aside on a packed train, they ensure a more relaxed ride for everyone. An immediate social benefit that outweighs the second or two it takes to slide back. When diners in a restaurant keep a respectful volume, they allow their fellow patrons to fully enjoy the ambience. In each case, the slight personal sacrifice pays off in a more pleasant experience all around. Core courtesy strategies and language templates. Across cultures, 3 fundamental speech acts carry the weight of public place politeness: requests, invitations, and reminders. Each follows a predictable, softly framed pattern. Requests. Could you please let me through? Would you mind lowering your voice just a bit? Excuse me. May I borrow a menu for a moment? By opening with a modal verb, could, would, inserting a softener like please, and ending with a brief statement of need, we minimize imposition while increasing the chance of a positive response. Invitations. Would you like to join our table? Please feel free to grab a seat here. If you're interested, we're heading in that direction. A polite invitation offers rather than demands, using conditionals, if you like, or inclusive language, please feel free, to signal genuine openness without pressure. Reminders. Just a quick reminder. The museum closes in 10 minutes. I wanted to gently remind you to keep your phone off. Don't forget the last train leaves at midnight. Polite reminders cushion the directive with framing, just, I wanted to, and often a rationale, museum closes, so that hearing isn't mistaken for scolding. Mood particles and intonation design. How we say something often matters more than what we say. 3 words in particular, please, would you mind, and excuse me, act as mood particles, instantly softening requests. Using them, paired with a rising then falling intonation, conveys warmth and respect rather than impatience. Please. Placed at the beginning, please pass the salt, or end, pass the salt, please. It signals humility. Would you mind? The ultimate indirect opener. It distances the request from speaker-centric demands. Excuse me. Ideal for getting attention without startling. Excuse me. I'm in a bit of a hurry. Intonation should be calm, moderate in pitch, and slightly slowed. A clipped or monotone delivery can undercut all your politeness work. Body language, eyes, and expressions. The power of silent politeness. Words alone do not make us courteous. Complementary nonverbal signals tip off others to our genuine intentions. Eye contact. A brief but sincere glance while speaking shows engagement and respect. Open posture. Facing the person fully, uncrossing arms, signals receptivity. Gentle nods. Affirmative head ticks encourage dialogue and suggest patience. Soft facial expression. A relaxed smile or neutral concern diffuses tension, even before a single word is uttered. Taken together, these elements reinforce the verbal courtesy strategies we've outlined. When your tone, phrasing, and body language all align in softening a request or reminder, you transform an ordinary exchange into a moment of shared respect. By calibrating the small personal costs of extra words, slight pauses, or considerate gestures against the smoother, more harmonious social benefits they unlock, we navigate public spaces with grace. Mastering these templates, mood particles, and nonverbal cues empowers us not only to avoid conflict but to cultivate everyday kindness, proving that the true art of public courtesy lies in balancing self-interest with our collective well-being. Stepping off an airplane into the bustling arrivals hall, hailing a packed city bus, sharing a table at a busy cafe, or sinking into a darkened cinema. All of these environments demand a blend of courtesy, clarity, and cultural awareness. In tackling each scenario, the courteous traveler or commuter rehearses a handful of adaptable speech patterns and silent cues, fine-tuned to local expectations yet rooted in universal respect. At airports, lines snake through security checkpoints and boarding gates. A crisp, "Excuse me, may I slip past you to reach that counter?" avoids confrontation and signals shared purpose. If an electronic boarding pass won't scan, a polite, "I'm sorry, I seem to be having trouble. Could you please try again?" diffuses tension. In North American terminals, staff expect brevity. "Boarding pass, please." While in many East Asian hubs, a softer buffer precedes the ask. "Hello, I'm terribly sorry, but may I show you my boarding pass once more?" Either approach hinges on acknowledging the agent's role and the traveler's obligation. A handshake of courtesy. City buses present equally pressurized spaces. Riders jostle aboard, clutching rails and purses. Rather than barging forward, a simple "Excuse me, I'll need to get off at the next stop," both claims a gap and allows fellow passengers to yield. In Europe, a clipped "Next stop, please" over the intercom keeps the wheels rolling, whereas in Latin America, a warmer "Disculpen, por favor, mi bajo en la próxima" builds communal goodwill before doors swing open. When carrying groceries, teens, or packages block the aisle, a deferential "Pardon me," head slightly bowed, bridges the aisle and creates a momentary alliance. In restaurants, diners balance attention to menus with respect for surrounding tables. Catching the server's eye and offering, "Could we have the check when you have a moment?" signals both patience and purpose. A hurried "Check, please" risks coming off brusque, while an overly elaborate preamble can feel insincere. In many Western contexts, "Check, please," paired with a smile suffices. In parts of Southern Europe, "Mi scusi Illinois canto per favor" glides in on the wings of ingrained warmth. When splitting bills, a concise "We'd like separate checks" works stateside, while elsewhere, if it's not too much trouble, "Could we have individual checks?" polishes the request with additional courtesy. Finally, cinemas demand near total silence and swift apologies when mobile phones betray us. A hushed, "Could you please silence your phone?" or the universal "Shoo," paired with the raised eyebrow, delivers the reminder without a call for law enforcement. In North America, a courtesy tap on the shoulder plus "Hey, could you keep your voice down?" suffices. In East Asia, a bowing head and soft "Please be quiet" allows nonverbal deference to carry equal weight. Across all these settings, the keys to next-generation public etiquette lie in three principles. Anticipate impact. How will my words or actions affect others? Calibrate directness. Am I being appropriately concise, or do I need an extra buffer? And integrate nonverbal respect. Does my posture, eye contact, or gesture reinforce my words? By blending straightforward and roundabout, concise and embellished, according to regional norms, we cultivate spaces that function smoothly and feel gracious. In doing so, we not only honor the immediate social contract, but also lay the groundwork for an ever more considerate global community.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Not thinking of the feelings of other people. Not thoughtful.
Inconsiderate.
Not a big problem.
Not such a big deal.
Unable to hear.
Can't hear a thing.
Be quiet.
Keep it down.
Turn off.
Switch off.
Could you please?
Do you mind?
Let's try that faster. Unable to hear.
Can't hear a thing.
Turn off.
Switch off.
Be quiet.
Keep it down.
Turn off.
Switch off.
Be quiet.
Keep it down.
Not thinking of the feelings of other people. Not thoughtful.
Inconsiderate.
Could you please?
Do you mind?
Not thinking of the feelings of other people. Not thoughtful.
Inconsiderate.
Turn off.
Switch off.
Not thinking of the feelings of other people. Not thoughtful.
Inconsiderate.
Unable to hear.
Can't hear a thing.
Be quiet.
Keep it down.
Unable to hear.
Can't hear a thing.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Inconsiderate. Stop being so inconsiderate and turn down the TV. I'm trying to sleep. Not such a big deal. It won't be such a big deal if you forget to wash the dishes tonight. Can't hear a thing. Can you speak louder? I can't hear a thing. Keep it down. It's 4 a.m. Can you keep it down? Switch off. Remember to switch off your mobile phone before class. Do you mind? Do you mind holding my coat for me? Inconsiderate. Stop being so inconsiderate and turn down the TV. I'm trying to sleep. Not such a big deal. It won't be such a big deal if you forget to wash the dishes tonight. Can't hear a thing. Can you speak louder? I can't hear a thing. Keep it down. It's 4 a.m. Can you keep it down? Switch off. Remember to switch off your mobile phone before class.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode and gained some new insights. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any future episodes. See you next time.